What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Brews Reviews. Today we're gonna do something a little bit different. I don't normally make these videos, but 2022 was a great year for cinema, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you had tons of big budget films that weren't necessarily just a bunch of Marvel movies. You had small budget indie films, and you had some mid-tier, kind of mid-budget films which are starting to make a comeback, so that's great news. You also had a lot more people actually going to cinemas this year, now that the panini has kind of died down a little bit. So I went to cinemas quite a bit. I saw some great movies. This video is a little late just because I wanted to make sure I watched everything that I missed, caught up on all the great videos for the great movies for the year, and I just wanted to put my thoughts out there. These are the top 10 movies that I watched from 2022. I missed a few of them just because they're either not on streaming services that I have, or I just wasn't able to catch them in theaters. But these are purely subjective. These are the movies that I enjoyed personally the most. So if you disagree, that's great, but these are the top 10 movies for me for now. I'd also like to give a shout out to some honorable mentions from this year, the first being Bullet Train. Thought it was a great action film with a lot of style, a lot of flair. Everybody was on their A game. Loved this actor especially, who played Tangerine. Great job from everybody. Fresh was also a pretty big standout for me. It is, as the title suggests, pretty fresh, both in concept and execution. Had a lot of very interesting stylistic choices. I loved it. It was a fun time. It's not for everybody. It's a little gruesome, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And of course, we had Halloween Ends, which I know a lot of people didn't like. Kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. They expected the more of a traditional showdown between Laurie and Michael. And I mean, in a way, you got it, but I just loved it. It was a vibe, man. A lot of really cool stuff from you know, the kind of subplot stuff I really enjoyed, and it was a pretty great send off for the series, I think. Okay, here we go. Number 10, The Banshees of Inisherin. We're getting to the real meat potatoes of stuff. This was a hefty drama film. 2 leads, amazing. Even, you know, I forget her name, the actress that played his sister, also really great. Just a really intense drama between these two friends. I can't say a lot about it. I wouldn't give it away, but it's a ride. It's a trip. Number 9, we had Nope. Everybody was great in this movie. It was a nice departure from your traditional horror that we've seen lately. The premise is great. I can't really spoil it if you haven't seen it, but the designs of, you know what I'm talking about. It was great. Very intelligent stuff. The subplots were interesting as well. Everything was just really well done. Exactly what you would expect from, you know, at this point, kind of a seasoned director in Jordan Peele. Number 8, we had Amsterdam. Now, I wasn't expecting this one to be good. I'd heard a lot of bad things about it. A lot of kind of mid-tier things. But I was impressed. Just the narrative flow, the events, everything that happens, what it ties into historically, the chemistry between the 3 leads. It was a great movie for me. I really enjoyed it. It didn't feel like its runtime. It felt very tight, very concise, and said everything it needed to within its runtime. And I honestly don't understand the hate, other than if you just really hate the director, that's cool and all, but, you know, I try to separate the art from the artist, you know. Ooh, number 7, Barbarian. This is another one you just can't really talk about without spoiling. And I would suggest you give it a watch before reading anything about it. If you made it this far without knowing what the whole deal about this movie is, go ahead and watch it. You're blessed, because, man, it is really great seeing it for the first time, uncovering all the details, and, you know, just kind of getting twisted and turned around from what you thought the movie was going to be about. Number 6, we had Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. This one kind of took me by surprise. I thought it would be good because I heard good things about it. But this one made me cry multiple times. A movie makes me cry, it's automatically like way up at the top of my list. So, you know, I saw this one pretty recently. I didn't expect it to get as high up on the list as it did, but it absolutely deserves it. I think a lot of work went into this. It was definitely a passion project for Guillermo del Toro, and makes Disney look like a bunch of clowns. What are you doing with this IP? Like, if Guillermo del Toro can come in here and make this amazing masterpiece and just style all over the, you know, quote unquote live action Pinocchio that came out, then you should be pretty ashamed of yourselves. Coming at number 5, we had Avatar: The Way of Water. I was kind of expecting this one to make the list, but I was blown away. This is true spectacle. This is filmmaking at its peak. You know, forget any kind of like artistry, you know, A24 independent stuff we're used to getting high praise. This is mainstream success. This is, you know, what you would expect from a mainstream director making, you know, an action adventure fantasy film. This is about, you know, as high as you can go in terms of, you know, practical effects, digital effects, you know, just all coming together. See it in 3D if you can. It's just, there hasn't really been a cinema experience like it since the original Avatar, and that's crazy considering that was, you know, 15 years ago. Coming in at number 4, we have The Batman. This is one that's been on the list for a while. I mean, it came out way earlier last year, and I figured it would stay on the list, and it did. What can I say about it that hasn't already been said? I mean, you know, the direction, the acting, you know, there's a bit of contention between Batman purists and people that like to see something a little bit different, and I really think they took it in a very creative direction. I love what Robert Pattinson did with the character. It wasn't just the same, you know, billionaire Bruce Wayne is a little different, and I know a lot of people didn't vibe with that, and I definitely did. Loved seeing him, you know, kind of internalizing the character of Batman a little too much in his early years. Number 3, Top Gun Maverick. Yes, this is a phenomenal action movie. Everything, you know, that happens in the frame happened. They really flew the planes. You know the whole deal. You know why this movie is such a leap forward for action movies, considering pretty much everything we've seen in the past decade or so has been CGI, you know, pre-rendered, post effects, you know, whatever. Like, this is the real deal. This is the level of action that we should expect from the big screen, and it definitely delivered. For a sequel that's, you know, several decades in the making, I think they knocked it out of the park. And Tom Cruise is, I mean, probably the greatest action star in history. So he was at his A game here despite being in his 50s. It's nuts. It's crazy. It's number 3. And then number 2, we have Everything Everywhere All at Once. I waited way too long to watch this, and I regret it because it's amazing. I mean, I don't regret it because I watched it, and it's great. It's best if you don't know anything about it going in. I mean, if you watch the trailer, you're not like super spoiled or anything. But there's just, I bet you could watch it like 5 times and get something new out of it every time. I need to watch it again. I need to show it to everybody. Is it for everybody? I don't know, but I'm gonna show it to everybody. It's like yes, like, you know, this is the you know, tree of life. Like, everybody needs to partake of this, you know. And finally, at the top, of course, we have The Northman at number 1. This blew me away. I'm a huge fan of Vikings and Viking lore, history, culture, and everything. And not only was it true to, you know, the historical aspects, you know, like what they would wear, how they would behave, things like that, but it had a deep reverence for the mysticism of the Vikings, because, you know, they were a very spiritual people, and they were also a very strong people, and I just think Skarsgård just, you know, portrayed the heck out of that. Like, he was like this big hulking dude who was, you know, if anybody was a Northman, it was him. It has, you know, a giant lava fight, you know, like, what is there not to love about this movie? Definitely one I need to rewatch. I kind of knew it would be number 1 while I was watching it in theaters, and You know, a lot of movies came close. It was a very close year, like I said, a lot of great movies. But I think I just got to give it to The Northman. This is one that I've already bought on Blu-ray, and I plan to watch many times. And it just kind of took the cake out of all of the, you know, everything else on this list. All right, everyone, that's all I got for you today. That's the top 10 of 2022, at least in my book. Thank you for watching. If you like this, you can check out my other videos. I got some more, you know, planned out, less thrown together videos coming up. You know, what was your top 10 of the year? Comment below and let me know. And yeah, you know, thanks to Greg Marcus over here for letting me watch movies in his theaters. He, you know, great job being the only theater chain in Nebraska. It's pretty cool. Anyway, thanks. Till next time.